Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another super cool radio interview. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have a great guest joining me at this time that I'm super excited to chat with. Raleigh, North Carolina-based Valletta will release their latest album entitled Summer on October 4th and will begin their tour on October 17th. Please welcome the lead vocalist and guitarist for Valletta, Keenan Carroll.
Thank you. Happy to be here. Wonderful. Thanks for all the applause, everybody. Really appreciate it. It's wonderful. I can hear it from here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know we got quite a bit to discuss with Valletta, and I'm very happy to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having us. Well, the rest of the dudes are a little bit tied up at the moment, but we're all happy to be here for sure. Thank you.
Of course, representing the band. I know you guys, as I said, you got the new album coming out. You got the upcoming tour. You guys are extremely busy right now.
Oh my God. It feels like we're constantly shooting ourselves out of a cannon, but it's really dope. We're having a really good time with it. And honestly, like we've all been in a lot of bands in the past, and some still are, we're still in projects doing other things. And it just, I don't know, this one feels good. The work that we're doing, everybody in the project is kind of taking their own leads on different things. And it's just like making it feel so much, I don't know, relaxed, I guess is the best way to put it. So we're busy, but we're having a good time doing it for sure.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it's, the process has been overall pretty good for you guys. Sounds like, obviously, with the experience of that bands, you kind of know what to avoid and, what to do instead and stuff like that. So, I'm curious. So, with, as I said, the upcoming album and the tour, how does it feel to have, these things finally coming together?
Oh, really good, because we've been sitting on it for a minute. It's funny, you oftentimes will record the music like a year in advance, and then you have to line all this shit up before you finally get to the point where you can put this out. And we're finally at that point, and I'm really happy, especially with all the things in between that we had to do, like, music videos and all sorts of other things just to build up to this point. I shouldn't say had to do. It was really fun to do all this shit. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, it feels great. I'm so happy to have it finally come out, and I can't wait to go on tour for this album. It's going to be great.
Oh yeah, so now diving into, Valletta and Summer and the tour and all of that. So I want to start with the album because that's going to be available, as I said, October 4th. So how'd you come up with, how'd you guys choose the name Summer for this album?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question, since the album cover is pretty wintry. But
that's why I'm curious.
It's all good. Understandable. Basically, everything that we went through this entire process has been about kind of like a duality of the hot and the cold, the winter and the summer. And like everything that we've done in this band has been about letting go, which has been so wonderful, and just allowing those dualities to exist. I feel like bands oftentimes end up in a scenario where it's like, this is the fucking image. This is the fucking thing that we're doing. And it's literally this box, and that is what they're selling. And I can't function like that personally. There's too many different sides, and the rest of the dudes and all of our different opinions and experiences coming together. We've come from so many different places too, you could even say, and this is no shade whatsoever to my boy, Will, love him to death, but he came from a metalcore background, right? And it's like, there's a lot of us who, in the band, and by a lot, I mean a couple of us, but there's a couple of us in the band who come from like strictly more black metal influenced, more elitist territories, and kind of shedding that has been wonderful to explore the options that we have as a group together, and respecting each other's opinions. So it's literally just been this constant duality of of each other pushing the ball forward. And maybe it's not 100% what you would choose personally, but we're like having so much fun allowing the ball to roll forward. It's been a blast. I'm really fucking excited about it. So summer is basically just, it entails that duality for us of the different sides coming together.
So you mentioned an interesting aspect, which is the kind of differing styles that some of the band members have. So how was it finding that balance? Because I hear in the music some different like elements and aspects in the music. So how was it finding that balance?
The balance was actually not too bad. Just, I mean, specifically because like I tend to do a lot of the what I call putting into the box. So basically, what it is I sit at home, I record some riffs, I put the drums and just rough ideas together. I was originally a drummer as well, so I'm able to like play them rather than program them, which I think really helps in the long run as well because a lot of people tend to kind of lean on programming if they can't play the drums. And it kind of gets that robotic aspect to it, which doesn't give you a good representation, in my opinion, of the riffs themselves. So, anyway, that was a side note. Anyway, so we, I basically deliver this box of riffs that I've put together, and then the band breathes life into it with their different influences and their different ideas. And that's all the character that you hear in all the music. Without them, the character wouldn't quite be the same at all because all I do is provide a box. So it's been wonderful to just see all the dudes come in and just like come up with what influences them. And there's literally been points, I'm not going to lie, where we have sat around and it's like somebody will write something and it'll be like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, dude, this is going to be it. And you're like, all right, cool. We're in it then. That's what's up. And then fucking after you listen to it, it is perfect. And it's just something that you oftentimes I think people, again, coming back to that box, right? They put themselves in the box and this is what fits and anything outside that box doesn't fit. And this has just been so good to let go and allow all that shit to come in. It's been fun to see where it goes. And I'm just happy about it.
Well, I'm really glad, and kind of going to the point that you've mentioned as well, is that a lot of people feel like, especially in bands or anything kind of creative, if they find something, like, oh, we have to stay in these parameters. And I feel the same with like the podcast too. It's like, but once you start putting those like sanctions on, like we can only do this much, to me, like it really stifles creativity.
Absolutely. I mean, I like to tell people that I'm a recovering elitist, where, I was the guy who always sat around and was like, well, that's Slayer, you know what I mean? Like, that's it, you have to do that. You have to fit this Morbid Angel, you know what I mean? Like, you have to fit these archetypes. And it's just like, letting go has been the most freeing thing that I've ever done. Because honestly, like, you have to just be you, and that's what it is, Or if you're in a band and you have your group, you have to just like respect and let unfold what happens because there's no real existence, in my opinion, where one person has all the answers.
I 100% agree with that. And also it shows like everybody like at least my opinion is that like everyone's unique and they always have their own unique like perspectives and like ideas. And once you start like thinking like, oh, we can only do like just this in this box, then like it dampens people's uniqueness.
I totally agree with that. Absolutely. It happened to me for sure. And, don't forget your roots. This is not a whole situation of like, just let completely go. Fuck it all. You know what I mean? It's like you definitely like the things that influenced you to get you to where you are today are absolutely important. But they're just as valid as somebody else who came to the table with the same sort of different slate of influences that brought them there as well. And you just it's I don't know. I'm stoked about this new journey.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I know I got some more questions about it before we get to that though. So like I you also mentioned like being a recovered like elitist. So like how long has that process like been for you?
To be honest, it's been about like 5 years, I would say. And realistically, kind of having like a, not great, I'm not going to say it's great, but just a little home setup where I can record has been essential to working through that myself, of just experimentation, seeing what I can do, say catching myself being like, well, I can't do that, and then be like, nah, you have to just let it fucking go, you know what I mean? um it's been essential to have that laboratory, to see what happens, um as well as, I guess, like, you could say part of this has to do with COVID and shit like that, of like everybody got kind of isolated for a while, there weren't shows happening, so kind of just all compounded into this situation where it allowed for, um just a search, a expedition, if you will, into the deeper parts of the brain, or maybe just getting a little too fucked up and not giving a shit. I don't know, whatever.
Either way.
Yeah.
But now, but focusing back on summer now, because I know you kind of been talking about like the writing and recording process. So like I'm curious. So compared to like other like either releases or previous bands, how was this writing and recording experience like different from previous material?
Like from past projects, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, either past releases or past bands, like your experience in general.
Okay, yeah. Mine personally, I obviously can't speak for the other guys, but mine personally has just been, it's been a little bit different because in the past projects, I didn't have a home recording situation. Obviously, like I lived in Boston before this, and played in a band called Lord Almighty up there, which, when you're in Boston, you don't really have the space. Everything is a lot smaller, so you don't have the room for these sorts of things. So it was kind of nice to move to Raleigh, get an extra bedroom, and be able to set up a little recording spot for myself. But in the previous experiences, it was a lot more, kind of writing together, which was wonderful. It had similar aspects of, allowing other characteristics of people to come through and add personality to everything. But here it's a little bit easier for me to kind of flesh out an idea, create that box for everybody else to just like blow the walls off of it and add their characters to it, and it's wonderful. So it's a little bit different for sure, as well as, like, if we're going to talk a little bit about the elitism, it was just a little bit tougher to make decisions in the past. It was more analysis paralysis of, how do we make sure that it's the exact right thing. And this is no shade to that, like, I 1,000% respect, and that project will always be, um kind of what it is in a good way, and I love that because it allows me to have different avenues to go down. But this project just being so much more free has been wonderful with that.
I'm really glad to hear, and it definitely showed. I've had the opportunity to listen to it, before release date, which I very much enjoyed because again, it has some different elements and styles. Not all the songs, as going to what we've both been saying, like fit like exactly in a box. Like they all have their own uniqueness and character to them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm, this is probably super typical, but I have ADHD, and I really can't fucking stand when I hear a band play the same shit for way too long, or like they've played like six songs and they're all in the same key, or they've played six songs and they all have the same drum beat, or there's just not enough diversity for me. I get really bored really fast. So, um, it's been a challenge to try to create something that has so many pivotal songs where they're just different from each other, but somehow they also fit together into one coherent project. And I think that's one of the big strengths of this project for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree with that. And as I said, it will be released October 4th. If anyone is interested, make sure to pick it up. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit because, as I mentioned in the intro, you guys currently preparing for tour as well. Starting on October 17th, you guys will be hitting the Eastern United States for this tour and parts of the Midwest as well. How's it feel? You'll be touring again. Like, how's the preparations? How's everything going?
Everything's going great. I'm so excited for this. It's like, to be honest, it's probably been like 4 or 5 years since I personally have been on tour. Just again with COVID and everything else, and kind of like getting into this new project and in the weeds of it and whatnot. But yeah, I'm so excited for this tour. It's about little less than 20 days or so. I'm excited to promote this new record. We've got some really great shows that are going to be happening on this tour. We have some amazing, smaller shows that are also going to be happening on this tour with like, dude, I have such a love for like basement shows and things like that. I mean, what a good fucking time. I don't know if you've ever been to a basement show. I assume you probably have. I don't mean to throw shade like that.
You're good. Your assumption is correct. Yes.
Hell yeah, dude. Basement shows are so much fun. I love that shit. I can't wait to do some of these. But yeah, the tour is going to be so sick. 20 days. We're I think going as far west as Chicago is probably as far as we're going west. But yeah, gonna see a lot of homies I haven't seen in a while. We're putting together. We just got a driver the other day, which I'm super excited about. It's so nice. We were kind of worried that we weren't gonna have a driver, but we fucking nailed it. And we got the coolest guy ever who works at this fucking dope venue down here, and they press records now, so it's gonna be really cool. They're actually pressing our record right now, so we'll have the record for sale. We got a whole new lineup of merch that's coming out too. Including a wonderful crop top as well, which I'm really excited about because I think a lot of bands sleep on merch for the ladies, and it's a common complaint when we had asked around like, what do you feel like's missing from merch? So we got a whole new line of merch. It's going to be super sick. We're very excited.
Well, it sounds like everything going great for you guys. You guys got sick vinyl, you got merch, you got a driver. I mean,
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys will be well prepared for this tour. As I saw, you got hitting some great venues, some I've been to as well. It's gonna be a very, very cool tour. I hope everything sounds like you're prepared. So I hope everything goes well for you guys.
Hey man, I'm gonna go to the store and make sure that I am stocked up on underwear and socks. Don't you worry about it.
Well, good. Well, that's all you need. That and maybe your guitar, maybe.
Oh yeah, well, we'll see what happens with that. It may make it and it may not. It's pretty old.
All right, so now, curious here. So, anyone who's not seen Valletta live, what can they expect?
Okay. Well, I feel like people are going to be kind of blindsided by a lot of things with this tour. We have a new light show that we're bringing with us. Not like crazy over the top, not super nutso, too big for them britches kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's going to be cool. It's going to be tasteful. I'm excited for that. You can expect very loud amps. We have two Marshall full stacks that we roll with, and a 810 fridge for the bass. And our drummer is probably one of the hardest hitting drummers I've ever seen in my entire life. That dude, he literally breaks snare drums like nobody's fucking business. Breaks beaters in half on the kick drum. Just the dude is a powerhouse. Yeah, it's going to be cool. There's going to be a lot of new things that we're going to be trying. But we're working through it all right now, getting prepared. It's going to be sick. I'm excited.
It definitely sounds like it's gonna be a hard hitting, definitely impactful show. So sounds like it's gonna be a great time.
I fucking hope so. Definitely, if you're there and you want to have more fun, make sure you buy me and the boys a drink, and yourself one too. But you know,
That is optional, at least for right now.
yeah, absolutely.
So before I start closing on this interview, so I'm curious for you. Question I've been asking my guests, lately, especially if they're preparing for tour or touring. Do you have a favorite song to perform live?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think about this for a second. I feel like so it's tough because we're playing some new shit this tour that we haven't played in the past. Because we released that first EP with the 6 songs, and now we're putting out the full 12. Plus, by the way, if you get the vinyl, then you get some secret tracks. There's some extra shit on there that nobody else gets. So maybe good to have vinyl. Anyway, fucking so I it's tough to say between the new songs. I'm gonna have to pick an old song just because like I've seen kind of crowd engagement with those. And my favorite to always play is definitely Serpents of Solomon. I love playing that song. People kind of they get kind of grindy, dirty with it. It's really dope.
Oh yeah, that guitar riff on there is awesome. So yes.
Oh, thank you.
I enjoy that one. So I can definitely see that. And I can see like people's, kind of reaction to that song as well.
Hell
But
yeah.
oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, so now as we're starting to close out this interview, Keenan, thank you so much for hanging out with me. So like you got the new album coming out, you got the upcoming tour. Like what is like the end of 2024, beginning of 2025 looking like for Valletta?
Well, we're starting to book the next tour. Um, I mean, we're literally just pushing as hard as we can at this point. We're going to be hitting the road as much as possible. We're already starting to write some new material, but it's very infancy at this point. It'll be a second. So we're probably going to be getting ready to record somewhat soon. The funny part about this project is we kind of just like throw recording onto the calendar, and then it's like, well, I hope you fucking figure it out in time. And so we're probably going to do that again, and probably record some more videos. Force Field Records is putting out the record, so we're going to keep working with them. Um, just fucking, just pushing, man. We're gonna keep on having a good time and just enjoy the ride.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I like that. I like that. So I'm curious. So like, you just like, hey, this date we're gonna record, and hopefully have something to record.
Dude, last time we went to record, we literally wrote one of the songs the night before we went into the studio. Soot and Ash actually was written the night before, and we just like practiced the fuck. That was the only song we practiced that night, and then we showed up to the studio the next day ready to go.
Right on. Hey, it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out just fine. Hey, we're not afraid of a little risk in this project. That's what's up.
That's for sure. I respect that. I respect that. All right. So now, for everyone watching, and listening, where are the best places to find Valletta online?
Okay, so right now on our Bandcamp is where you're going to be able to pre-order it. Like you said, it's coming out October 4th, so you can pre-order it before then. And then Force Field Records should be posting it pretty soon as well on their site, so we'll keep you posted about that. But the best place is just show up to our fucking tour and buy it from us because who knows? Maybe it'll be cheaper. Maybe it won't. I don't really know. I haven't talked to the guys about that. We'll see what happens. I don't fucking know. But that's the best place, realistically, is come see us, say hi, let's have a drink together, and buy a record.
I like that. I like that. So yeah, definitely, if Valletta's coming to a show near you, area near you, make sure to see them live, purchase some vinyl, maybe a drink or two, get some gas in the gas tank along the way. But Keenan, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio.
Yeah, happy to be here again. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Had fun.
Of course. I'll leave some links for Valletta in the description of this podcast. Please shout out and support them. For Keenan Carroll of Valletta, I'm your host always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.
Stay frosty. Fucking right. Hell yeah.